This is a cute, funny isekai where a girl gets sucked into a dating sim and she doesn't want to date the princes you're supposed to. She's in love with the villainess. Hey, that's the name of the show. Pretty good. It's a fun concept and the developing bond between the two girls gets really sweet. Apparently people were mad at this show because they actually verbally acknowledged that the main girl is gay. Like apparently they didn't realize that the main protagonist of I'm in Love With The Villainess was gay for being in love with the villainess until the show spelled it out for them. Okay. But yeah, it's a fun time. Though I would honestly recommend watching it subbed, because after a while, the main girl's delivery in the dub really got on my nerves. She delivers every other line like she's the Kaguya dub narrator, and just puts on all these ridiculous voices! And I feel like she really needed to rein that in, because it got pretty annoying.
A cute, funny isekai where a girl gets sucked into a video game and she doesn't want to date any of the princess, but wants to date the villainess? Okay, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I have been bouncing back in between all of the One Piece and Demon Slayer craze lately, so I just felt like I needed to consume something that was fun and charming and easy to consume. That's name isn't Spy Family, of course, and this just seemed right up my alleyway, so yeah, I'll give it a try.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, I mean, that was kind of what I got, I guess. Now look, granted I would rate this higher than most shows I have watched, and you know what, to give credit where it's due, it was exactly how Schaffrillas Productions have described it, a cute and funny isekai. For about 7 episodes, then the last 5 pretty much took a nosedive. Now unlike Disenchanted, however, I am going to start off nice and talk about the stuff that I do like. Because, like I said, I do like the show, okay? It's a good show. There's just some things holding it back for me in those last 5 episodes that keeps it from being actually great. First and foremost, the relationship between the two main characters, Ray Taylor and Miss Claire, are definitely the highlight of the anime. The chemistry is just really cute and fun and just enjoyable all around. I also will say to where I like Ray being a cheeky bastard towards Miss Claire and all of Miss Claire's failed attempts at trying to make her feel sad and depressing, and all it did was just make her love her even more. That was pretty funny. Another compliment that I will give is, I know it's pretty basic level, but the animation is pretty good. Oh wow, you're telling me an anime in 2023 has good animation? Who could have guessed? Okay, but for real talk, yeah, the visuals are pretty good. Another compliment I will give is that I am very thankful at the fact that it doesn't try to go down some routes to where the rules have changed when the main character falls in love with the villainess, and instead all the princes become the antagonist towards the series. And yeah, that's what you probably expect for this series to go, but no, all 3 princes are relatively chill dudes, so that's a plus. And another positive that I will give is that the power scaling is relatively simple. It's not anything deep or complex. It's literally just Avatar: The Last Airbender's power scaling system matched with Harry Potter's. So I think it works for an anime as easy to understand as this. And I will say, for the first 7 episodes, it does have that slice of life factor into it, as most slice of life animes would have, such as Spy Family, to where it doesn't want to change, but it knows that it doesn't want to change, so it just has this like feel-good factor that keeps you invested watching the show and to prevent it from being boring. And finally, I will say the soundtrack are pretty good, okay? The opening is a banger, and whenever fight scenes come on, there will be like a main theme music that will be playing in the background, and that main theme is pretty good, okay? I listened to it multiple times. If you have seen the show, you would know what I'm talking about. As for some of my favorite moments in the entire season, I would say are the moments where Ray Taylor explains to us how the game operates and how it works. And I also just like how the fact that she just knows everything about the game. I'm pretty sure there's even a statement somewhere to where she goes like, "Oh, I think I know the game better than the game makers themselves," which is awfully convenient and a perfect excuse as to the reason why she literally never loses at anything in this series. Which I know would make her a Mary Sue to an extent, but what differs her from like other Mary Sues that are widely hated is that she's not unlikable. She has, like I said, she has a very fun personality that will be in contrast and bounce off of Miss Claire's. So that's what keeps it a very fun show to me, is the dynamic between the two main characters, as I've said before. You see, Mindy Kaling, you can in fact write likable lesbians that aren't so pretentious and have to act so manipulative towards their best friends, and also be an asshole towards everyone else in the show, and also make so many unfunny racist jokes that are specifically targeted towards heterosexual white males, yet the only white male in your little group is by far the best character of the show. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that Ray Taylor is a good protagonist and driving force of the show. Okay, now let's talk about the problems that I have with season 1 of I'm in Love with the Villainess. And all of that really is all on the last 5 episodes, unfortunately. Okay, so for some reason I can't get any actual footage from the anime episodes itself on Crunchyroll because for some reason my screen recorder keeps getting petrified anytime I go to Crunchyroll so that it can get any actual footage. But also I cannot make any screenshots because it just keeps having these black screens for some reason anytime I try to take a screenshot of the show. So I'm just gonna have to rely on this one clip from YouTube and also put some Roblox footage gameplay in the background, and I'll try my best to explain to you what these problems that I have in the last 5 episodes. Oh, also there will be spoilers for this show, so if you care about spoilers, just turn off the video, go ahead, watch the show on Crunchyroll, then come back. Or if you have watched the show, or you have seen the manga, or read the light novel, or you just don't give a shit, then go ahead. Oh, the woman in the maid dress that you just saw, her name is Lene. She works under Miss Claire, but she acts more like a big sister than anything else, and she was my favorite side character in the show. So basically what happens in episode 8 was that there was this ongoing theme throughout the entire show is that there are two types of people in the show. The first type is the commoners, and the second type are the nobles, and I guess to an extent royals as well. And I think you know the gist of it. The nobles and royals are the rich people, and the commoners are the not so rich people, which means in turn commoners are being treated less. So in episode 8 they wanted to address this fact to where some student named Matt, I think, he made an organization to where he went, hey guys, we commoners want to have equality. We want to be treated the same as all you nobles and royals do. And one of the first few people he reached out for this is one of the princes in the game, Prince Yu. Unfortunately, his servants or best friends or whatever did not like that, and he pulled out his wand to threaten Matt. Again, the intent was only to threaten him, but for some reason, I guess his wand just malfunctioned and it fire blast towards Matt, of which left him in a pretty not so good state. Then from there, it was up to Detective Ray and Miss Claire to find out who the hell tempered the wand. And surprise, surprise, it's Lene's older brother Lambert. Who is Lambert, you ask? Well, Lambert is basically the equivalent of a technician in the real world, but instead of dissecting every single little part of little gadgets, instead it's magic wands and other stuff that's from the magical world. His plan was that since now that Matt is in a very dire state, this news just suddenly spread out to the entire world, I guess, and that just left a very angry commoner mob that is now trying to get into the school, so they need to do some damage control, obviously. And what Matt's plan was that he will do that, then when the mob eventually does come in, he will summon a monster using a little necklace thing that will, go hurt the mob. And why he do this, you may ask? Well, it's because he made some random deal with a mysterious masked man who just suddenly appeared for no reason, even though, he was in the intro, so I guess they did kind of foreshadow that, but still. And why did he make this deal in the first place, you may ask? Oh, it's because the masked man offered him some sweet reward to where he can go into another place outside of the kingdom with his sister, and so that he can bang her. I am not kidding. He is willingly, perfectly fine with taking out thousands of people, severely injuring them, just so that he can go into another place and show his magic wand to his sister. Wow, okay, yeah, there's just, so much wrong here. Ignoring all the incest stuff, even with the whole big deal about the mysterious masked man, to where it's judging him by the intro, I thought he was going to be, the main villain of the entire show. Frankly, the show didn't need a main villain, but I wouldn't mind taking one if it did. Nope, he was only in for episode 8 and 9, and he just dipped. All he did was just like give the necklace to Lambert and then to tell him to summon a monster, and also he fought one of the princess, specifically Prince Thane, and gave him some kind of big poison that is very deadly, but it instantly got undone, so what was the point of that? And yeah, that was basically everything that he did. I thought he was just going to be some big driving force, but he was merely just a mastermind. And I know he'll probably come back in season 2 or something, but first impressions, not looking very good. Oh, also there was this scene to where a lot of people got really mad about, and it was a scene to where Ray knocked out Miss Claire using her magic water and put her to sleep. Then she told Lene to take her to some safe place to where she can confront Lambert about the whole big deal. Then Lene comes back, tells her to stop doing all this with a knife to Miss Claire's neck while she is still sleeping. Okay. Let's just get the obvious thing out the way. No, Lene wasn't going to commit to killing Miss Claire. She was just stuck between a rock and a hard place because she loves both her brother and Miss Claire. She's also just really the only maid that's committed to serving Miss Claire. Like, she was the only one that could put up with her bullshit. So I don't think that she would just suddenly go out of left field and pull a move like this. However, I will say this is feel a bit out of character for her to do, because I don't even think the idea of putting a blade next to Miss Claire's neck would even come across her mind. Even in a desperate situation like this, I don't think she would do something like that. What I think she would do is that if it's in a situation like this, she would bring the knife, definitely, but instead of pointing at Miss Claire's neck, she would instead point it at Ray's back, threatening to stab her. Like that, okay, I understand, because she hasn't known Ray that long. Then Miss Claire would wake up from her sleep and ask, oh, well, what's going on here? Then the exact same scene would play out as usual. Like, that is such an easy fix for a character that doesn't feel like, even if it's a big jump the shark moment like this, at least it still feels in character for Lene to do. But my ultimate problem with this entire arc in general was that we just went from 5 to 100 or like even 1,000 immediately. Because it's like we never even spend that much time with Lambert, or I guess to Lene to a certain extent, because there was only one scene that establishes that Lambert is Lene's older brother. There was one scene to where Lene was talking to Lambert, and that scene was during the maid training session when they were going up for their cross-dressing cafe. Those are the only two scenes that establishes their relationship. Other than that, then we have this. It just feels like so out of pocket, and it's also just like, come on, man, let me just like spend some time to flesh these characters out before you pull something like this. Then we get to episode 10, 11, 12, which were better than 8 and 9, but I still had problems with it, so moving on. Episode 10 introduced a new character, which was Miss Claire's real love interest the entire time. So where it's this other girl that is from another kingdom, and now she's come to join their school. But Ray Taylor is getting jealous because now it's a love triangle between all three girls, and now she just considers this new girl her opponent, and she has to do anything to win back Miss Claire's love, of which eventually she does at the end. Big surprise. But then even after the end of this, the new girl just leaves at the end of episode 12. Like, I thought she was going to be like a mainstay character for quite a while, but nope. She just leaves at the end of episode 12. So like, that was only 3 episodes. Again, it's like, I'm not exactly looking for long-running 200+ episode One Piece length arcs, but I'm also saying to where it's like, don't have like such short arcs to where I don't really know the characters all that well. Like, at least give it like 5 or more episodes, then I would have, been more satisfactory towards it. One thing I also really don't like about both of these arcs is that like these are so outlandish and like so big compared to what has come before, is to where you would expect that these would be like, big events. These would be like, oh, this is the serious thing that's happening right now. Now this shit is real. But like, nope, they immediately reverse that in the next episode or so, and now it's all back to happy, fun status. Look, is this a bad show? No, of course not. Like I said, I still enjoy the show. It's just that it has so many flaws. I'm holding it back from greatness, and I want it to be great, but it just didn't. Like maybe if it actually like committed to some of the big moments in the show and flesh out some of the characters a bit more, I would have definitely given this a higher score than it already has. Like I giving it a mid 7 out of 10 at best, but it could have so easily been a high 8 or even a low 9 at that. All in all, I would definitely recommend you watch the show, but I would just say this: if there's any like big teases for what's going to happen, just don't expect anything big to happen in return, okay? And I would definitely like to see season 2 to improve upon the mistakes they made and also correct all of my problems with this first season. So rating season 1 of I'm in Love with the Villainess, you already know what it is, 7 out of 10, really hoping that season 2 will be better.